Hello everyone, welcome to the latest in our Life at Home series. We're carrying on looking at 1 Peter together. I wonder if you've ever felt like you don't fit in somewhere. I've had that experience where I've gone into a clothes shop and thought, oh yeah, I really like the look of that. Gone over to it, had a closer look, and then made the mistake of turning over the price tag and realising this is not the shop for me, that I cannot afford that. I cannot spend that kind of money on that t-shirt. And then having the awkward thing of having to leave the shop, but not wanting to make it too obvious that that's the case, that I can't afford anything in this shop. And so subtly looking at another couple of things, and then quickly heading towards the exit. Well, in today's passage, in 1 Peter, Peter talks about how we don't fit in with the rest of the world, and then gives us a couple of ways that makes a difference to our lives. So, shall we read the next bit in 1 Peter? I'm going to read 1 Peter chapter 2, and it's verses 11 and 12. Dear friends, I urge you as aliens and strangers in the world to abstain from sinful desires, which war against your soul. Live such good lives among the pagans that, though they may accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us. Now, Peter describes us as aliens and strangers in the world. And he's not talking about us. He says that we don't fit in with the world in that case. But he's not talking about us not fitting in with the world in the same way that I didn't fit in that clothes shop. He's saying we don't fit in because what he's doing is he's referring back to verse 9 of this chapter, where he described us as a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God. He's not saying we don't fit in because we lack something, like I lacked the amount of money to afford that clothes shop, but he's saying we don't fit in because we're called to something greater, because we're a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God. We have been called to something better. It's not because we lack something, it's because we've got something amazing that we don't fit in. And that makes a real difference to our lives. It's not just a nice title that we get that boosts our ego or boosts our self-esteem, makes us feel more special. It's something that makes a big difference to us. The fact that we're a royal priesthood means that we've got instant access to God. We can pray to God and know that he's listening to us. It's not like in the Old Testament where the Jews would have to go to a priest or go through a priest to get to God. We can get to God instantly because of what Jesus has done on the cross. When we pray, we know that God is listening to us. We know that we can read in the Bible that actually when we pray, Jesus is interceding for us, the Spirit is interceding for us, and that we can also read in Romans 8 that the Spirit of God lives inside us. So God isn't a distant God, because we're a royal priesthood. God is with us, and that makes a huge difference. A huge difference to what Peter describes in verses 11 and 12 here. So, verse 11, he says, Dear friends, as aliens and strangers in the world, I urge you to abstain from sinful desires which war against your soul. Now, battling against sinful desires that war against our soul is a big battle to fight. But because we're a royal priesthood, it's not one that we have to do by ourselves. Romans 8 verse 9 says, You, however, are controlled not by the sinful nature, but by the Spirit, if the Spirit of God lives in you. We don't have to fight against the sinful desires which are warring against our souls by ourselves. We can do it with the Spirit of God. So, if we're, and we can turn to the Spirit to help us. If we're losing patience with our children at home because we've been in the same house for a week or two, we can turn to the Spirit and ask him to give us the patience we need to deal well with our children. If we find ourselves looking at something on the internet or watching a program that we know isn't doing us good, we can turn to the Spirit to give us the self-control that we need to fight that battle. We can lean on the Spirit to help us be honest and transparent with our bosses when we think maybe we haven't been as productive working from a home as we could have been. We fight this battle against the sinful desires, not on our own, but in the power of the Spirit who lives in us, because we're a royal priesthood. In verse 12, Peter talks about us living good lives among the pagans. And again, we don't do that on our own. We do that as royal priests. We do that with the Spirit living in us. And because the Spirit lives in us, our deeds have a big impact on the people that live among us. It says here that through the good things that we do, people don't just get blessed by the needs that we meet, but they get to see Jesus. What an amazing privilege that is, that as we go and bless our neighbours, as we bless our communities around us, not only do we get to help them, but we get to show them Jesus, and people get to see Jesus through what we do. I think that's amazing, and it's amazing that can help to lead people towards Jesus, and that our neighbours and our friends and our family may glorify God on the day he visits us, partly because of what they've seen of God through us. What a privilege that is, and what a challenge that is. I wonder today if you could go and bless someone or bless more people today in order that you show them some of Jesus. What a challenge that is, and what a privilege that is to have Jesus with us and the Spirit living inside us. So I'm going to finish by praying, and then I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. Yeah, Father, I thank you that we are a chosen people, that we are a royal priesthood. Thank you that means that you are with us and that you are for us, and that your Spirit lives inside us. I pray that you'll help us to be people that can resist temptation, and people that can bless the people around us and show some of you to our neighbours and our friends. Amen.